How did you meet Michele?
I met Michele in high school when we were freshmen, and one of her best friends played volleyball with me, so we kind of met through mutual friends. So we've been friends for 7 years, going on 8 then.
As a friend, what were some of the changes that you saw in Michele and that you experienced after she was diagnosed with diabetes?
I think Michelle's always been really just fun and crazy and kind of willing to do anything and doesn't like to say no to new experiences and stuff. So, for the first 3 years of high school when she didn't have diabetes, she just kind of could do whatever she wanted. But she's also always been very responsible as a person, so when she got diagnosed, I think that she was good at, dealing with, having to give herself insulin and having to make sure she was okay all the time. But she, I think, got frustrated definitely at first because she couldn't just, eat a cookie and not have to worry about it, I think. And it was hard for all of our friends, us to watch because, she was getting frustrated with, the work she had to put into it. She was so used to just, being able to do whatever she wanted. And suddenly her life had become a lot more restricted with something that she wasn't used to.
What did you try to do as a friend when it came to how you treated Michele once she had diabetes? What would you advise other people who have friends with diabetes to do?
I really made sure to not treat her any differently or kind of try to pity her in any way, because that's definitely not something she wanted. We just tried to keep things as normal as possible since her life had been kind of upturned at that point. Just tried to, keep joking about it and, keep it light so that she wasn't, feeling bad for herself or anything. And, I think we had to get a lot more creative with outings, because it's not like we could just, center things around food. We tried to, just make her life as easy as possible. And I think it's just all about not treating her any different, because she's not a different person because of it. She's still your friend, the exact same. So I think it's really important to just, gauge how comfortable they are with it. And I know with Michele, she's a very funny person, so we got to the point where she was comfortable with it and we would all make jokes about it. She would let people inject her with the syringe, let them push it down, just kind of lighten the mood. And I think that helped with her circumstance. But I think, everyone's different and you got to kind of gauge it out.
How would you suggest that friends help their friends with diabetes when it comes to getting ready to go to college?
Yeah, I think basically just had to reassure her that it wasn't gonna, ruin her college experience. Because I know it, when you're going into a new place freshman year, you don't know anyone and you suddenly have to make new friends, which isn't something people have done for so long, because you go to, middle school and high school with the same people in most cases. So I think we just had to be really reassuring that, people weren't gonna not be friends with her just because she was, pulling out her insulin at meals and stuff. So I think that would cause nerves, just because, you already are going into such an unfamiliar circumstance that you don't want to set yourself apart from anyone. But that's never the case. No one, I've never met a human on the planet who's ever judged someone for having diabetes, So I think it's all about just kind of reassurance and making sure that, they feel okay.
What did you know about diabetes before Michele's diagnosis? And what did her diagnosis teach you and your friends?
When we were, 18 or 17 when she was first diagnosed, none of us really knew what to do at first, I think, because I'd never had any friends who had diabetes, and especially I hadn't been friends with someone while they were being diagnosed with it, which is, a huge life change, obviously. So I think when we were 18, it was a really good lesson in, just learning how to deal with problems with friends, because I know in high school and college, that's when people really start going through personal problems with health and losing people and just all that stuff. I know that's when that started kind of happening to friends. So I think we were lucky to be young to learn these lessons and how to just be there for friends and be there for people just at a young age. So I think when I went to college, I was very equipped to be there for people who were going through problems. And I think that it's taught me a lot about just kind of learning to deal with problems, because it's not just her problem. Like, you know, we all feel for her. Whenever one of your friends is going through something hard, you know, you hurt too. So I think it taught everyone just kind of a lesson in, you know, getting through life. And so I think that's been really good for everyone.
What helpful information did Michele tell you and her other friends about her blood sugar?
I know, like, one thing Michele told all of us when she had gotten diabetes, because we were all kind of like, well, what should we expect? Like, are you going to be okay? And she told us that, you know, in case her blood sugar were to drop to a pretty dangerous level, which would never happen. It's never happened to Michele in the 4 years that she's had diabetes. But if her blood sugar were to go too low, we know her pouch that she keeps all of her medicine in, and there's like an emergency, like, it basically looks like an EpiPen, and I think it pretty much acts the same, and it raises the blood pressure so that they, you know, survive it. And so I think that was really helpful, because all of us felt like there was never going to be a time when something happened and we weren't going to know what to do, because we didn't know anyone else with diabetes. So the fact that, like, we knew that in her, like, pink pouch was something that we could inject her with if she, like, passed out or something, then we felt completely comfortable, and we were never worried that, you know, something was going to happen to her and we weren't going to be able to help.